Hello and welcome to another edition of Fake News with me, Nicholas de Santo, the news program which probably has more viewers than the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Wherever you are in the world, this bulletin reaches you in your local time. And please forgive me for my voice, I'm having a cold, but the news cannot wait. As a sign of inspiration and solidarity with President Trump, I'll be performing this bulletin without a teleprompter. But before we get to the news, come watch me live in Berlin, Germany. For one night only, you can watch my stand-up show in Berlin, Germany. Link to the tickets in the description to this video. And now let's get to the news. Ancient Romans said, "Nomen est omen," your name is your destiny. And after the Yom Kippur terrorist attack on a synagogue in Manchester, the police declared the name of the suspect was Jihad ash-Shami. Jihad ash-Shami, which literally means jihad from the Levant. The police also arrested a pickpocket. They declared his name as Jippo al-Gypsy, and they also arrested a public nuisance on a train, her name declared as Shaniqua, a shout into my phone. In a drastic rift from the policy of the US and Israel, several Western countries, including Britain, recognized the state of Palestine. Of course, the British government will not be opening any embassy in this new state of Palestine because nobody knows what territories it includes or excludes. Nobody knows where the capital is, so you don't know where to put your embassy. Also, who is really ruling over Palestine? So, in other words, to whom your new ambassador is supposed to hand over his credentials. You see, recognizing Palestine as a state is a bit like recognizing a trans as a woman. You do it out of solidarity and politeness, but you won't date her because you don't know where to put your ambassador. The 80th General Sessions of the United Nations General Assembly were held with President Trump giving a one-hour speech which was a scathing indictment of the UN's massive support for the Green Agenda and for mass immigration into Western countries. President Trump was also unhappy about nearly tripping up over an escalator which stopped halfway through and also a broken teleprompter.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
A broken teleprompter and a broken escalator. This was the worst case of UN incompetency since UN peacekeepers allowed for the massacre of Srebrenica in Bosnia, and later other UN blue helmets engaging in the trafficking of Haiti orphans for sexual abuse and body parts. And now a teleprompter, a broken teleprompter, and a broken escalator. It doesn't bear thinking about.
And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Now, you thought maybe President Trump was joking, but later the tech team at the UN were forced to watch the speech by the President of the General Assembly, Annalena Baerbock, in loop. Now, if you don't know who Annalena Baerbock is, she's like Kamala Harris, but without the charm. Have a listen.
As they say, it's economics, stupid. Closing the gender gap would increase global GDP by $7 trillion US. Which brings us to the third R, representation. We all know that when women are at the table, companies perform better peace treaties last longer, and governments deliver more.
Now, you thought Germans don't have a sense of humor. Of course, companies are doing better with women. If you don't believe me, ask Alaska Airlines or Ocean Gate Submarine Company. Annalena Baerbock, who is she? She's the former German foreign minister from the Green Party. If you don't know what a Green Party, green foreign policy is, it means basically shutting down coal and nuclear, so they depended on Russian gas, but then also they poked Russia to invade Ukraine, so they couldn't buy Russian gas, so they had to burn books to heat their homes. Many Germans said, "Verdammt, I don't remember my country being in such poor state ever." Now we have some breaking news. Breaking news. President Trump has gone senile. President Trump has gone senile. In fact, what seemed initially to be baseless, malicious rumors peddled by Democrats and their fake news media stooges now seems to be more substantiated. The alarm was raised when President Trump visited the UK and said Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, had been doing a great job and was popular among the nation. The next day, President Trump visited King Charles and also said King Charles is loved by the British. Before going senile, President Trump took a commendable decision. He announced that Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA and the prominent campaigner for conservative and Christian values, will be posthumously awarded with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Also, 25 people were killed in Gaza last week, and inspired by President Trump, Hamas declared that all those Palestinians will be posthumously awarded with a certificate in journalism. They're all journalists, you know. Late night mystery in the United States. Jimmy Kimmel mysteriously returned back to his job just after having been mysteriously suspended. Jimmy Kimmel was suspended following his declaration that the assassin of Charlie Kirk was from the MAGA movement. But indeed, it was difficult to pinpoint the actual reason for him being suspended. Was it because he is hated by the President of the United States of America, or was it just because he is crap as a comedian, or just an overall garbage human? Some people pointed out that returning him wouldn't have any business sense as he's such a terrible comic. But Disney, who owns ABC, said, "Business sense? We don't understand business sense. We subsidize, we pay for the travel expenses of our female employees so they can go to blue states and have an abortion. Disney subsidizes the killing of children, and we make content for children. Disney promoting abortions make as much business sense as Waffle House promoting salads, or as much business sense as Planned Parenthood promoting responsibility." And finally, let's end on a good news. Prince Harry finally met with his dad, King Charles, after 19 months. One of several sticky, tricky issues between the two sides was and has been the removal of taxpayer-funded security detail for Prince Harry and his family. Indeed, he lamented the decision and said, "My family don't feel safe in England." To which the Buckingham Palace spokesperson responded, "Oh, your family will be fine. Just avoid the diversity neighborhoods." And that brings us to the end of this edition of Fake News with me, Nicholas De Santo. Thanks for listening. Check out the link to my merch and my show in Germany. Until next time, stay safe and take care.